Okay, started recording by itself again. I don't know how it does that, but it's magical. I'm just sitting here adjusting my hat, talking goofy stuff, and there it starts recording. So, hello there. I am Santa Scotty. You are not, and it is time for another Christmas review, and we are looking at The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks. Yes. And I saw this when it came out, and I didn't think very much of it. It was just kind of meh for me. And you couldn't say, oh, it's because you're growing up, you don't like kids' movies anymore. I can watch kids' movies nowadays with my son, and even some of the, kids' movies that come out. Mostly with my son, I guess. They're fine. This just never, did nothing for me. Didn't do anything for me. It was just, meh. And keep that in mind, I saw this in IMAX when it came out, in the IMAX. And it still didn't impress me. And I always thought it was weird that Tom Hanks was pretty much all the characters. All the grown-up characters. He's the dad. He's the conductor. He's the homeless angel guy. He's Santa Claus. He's all the adults. Except for maybe like the fire stoker guy and the guy who's driving the train. Like, yeah. Or maybe it's Ticket Man that he is. I call it conductor, he's a Ticket Man. I don't know. Even the little kid is Tom Hanks because of the narration. He's the narrator and Tom Hanks is the narrator, so technically, yes. Although Josh Hutcherson did the motion capture, and Daryl Sabara did the voice. So, there's a Spy Kids Hunger Games crossover if you wanted it. But, watching it now, all these years later, for the second time ever, yes, haven't watched it since, I can say without a doubt that this movie is okay. It's okay. Like Home Alone 4, I went in thinking I wasn't going to like this. But I found myself kind of getting into it. And I think maybe the biggest reason why this animated movie for kids kind of pushed me away is that I think it's too much kiddish. It's a G movie, which I go back. I watched a whole bunch of G movies, Disney movies, but those are ones I grew up with. This was one I watched once in 2003 when I was a teenager. I was in high school at this point. So maybe at that point this one didn't impress me because of that, but I don't know. It tells the story of Hero Kid. Yes, that is his real name. Who doesn't believe in Santa Claus and then gets invited to go on this Polar Express that will take him to the North Pole. Itchy nose. And there he meets Hero Girl. God, these names. And this very annoying kid voiced by Eddie Deezen. And then there's this little boy who's the only kid in the movie who actually has a name. His name is Billy, as we find out later. And they're going to the North Pole, and then a bunch of filler in between, basically. There's, you gotta have a ticket, and the little girl is going to bring the hot chocolate to Billy in the next car, but she forgets her ticket. When he goes to give it to her, the wind takes it away. And then when they get back, Of course, now he's like, oh, I didn't punch your ticket. And she doesn't have the ticket, so she lost it, so he takes her to a magic, I don't know. He takes her out the back way again, and when he gets through where Billy is, there's nothing. And then it's implied they climbed on top of the roof. But why not just go? There's got to be a door in the other direction, right? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, they're going up to the front because later he finds her in the conductor's chair, basically. And then there's a thing with deer in the middle of the railroad track. Does that happen? I would imagine maybe, but it's weird. Excuse me. And then they almost get derailed when they're on the ice. What train track goes on ice? I don't know. But eventually, after all this filler, because this movie's 100 minutes long, yeah, this should have been like 75 minutes. They get to the North Pole and it's okay looking. It's okay. But, yeah, the kids venture off, because of course. And, Hero Kid, Hero Boy, Hero Girl, and Billy venture off into the workshop where we meet the elves. One of the elves says, what are you, Meshuggah? And I'm like, wait, is that elf Jewish? Because isn't that like against like it's Christmas, right? And there's a Jewish elf. Isn't that kind of contradictive? Isn't that contradictive? A little bit. I don't know. And my God, like, okay. So one thing I need to talk about is the animation in this film. This was when Robert Zemeckis, who directed this film, was on his motion capture kick. He did this, Mars Needs Moms, Beowulf, Jim Carrey, Merry Christmas, Christmas Carol. He was just on this kick, like, this is going to be the next generation of CG animated film. And my God, motion capture is good. Like, the stuff that Andy Serkis did in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbits and the Planet of the Apes films, good. This is almost the Uncanny Valley, though. The entire film is like this, and it's just janky the way they move. Sometimes the way when the kids smile is like Jack Nicholson's Joker in animated form, and not very good animated form. It's just very weird in some of the movements. And then Tom Hanks voicing some characters that weren't motion captured by him, because I guess he was getting a little exhausted. He was motion capture everything. He was getting exhausted. I don't know. But, yeah. I don't know. It's just very weird. Also, the theme song plays constantly throughout this. Whenever something big happens, you na 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 na. I'm like, how many times are you gonna play that song? It plays all the time. But yeah, they're in the North Pole. Billy sees a present meant for him, so he chases after it. They end up in Santa's bag. And strangely, the Eddie Deason kid is there. In the bag already, even though they were ahead of him. And he was still with the rest of the kids. And he is in the bag already. I don't understand. And then, they meet Santa Claus. And Santa Claus picks the hero kid to be the one to get the special first present of Christmas, which is a bell that at first he had trouble hearing, but now he believes in Santa, so he can hear it. Because the little girl and Billy keep saying, hear a bell, hear a bell. What bell? I don't hear a bell. And then, shh. And then, he hears it because he can believe. And like I said, with the animation, did you know Charles Fleischer, who was the voice of Roger Rabbit, did motion capture? Because you're going to notice if you watch this. Oh boy, the Charles Fleischer elf. Oh, it is disturbing. It is disturbing. I'm just saying. But, yeah. And so Santa goes off in a poof of dust. And we get a performance from Aerosmith, Elfer Smith. It's what's his name? Steven Tyler Elf. Steven Tyler Elf. It is, and it's somehow less disturbing than Charles Fleischer Elf. I'm just saying. And then they get back on the train, and they all go home. And Billy's present is already there for him when he gets there, which he brings it outside to show, hey, look, I got an A. And then the boy goes home, and he wakes up, and he thinks it's a dream. And he loses the bell. I lost the bell. He lost the bell because he has a hole in his robe. Which stands to reason, he's in a robe. How is it not freezing cold out there in the North Pole? I'm just saying, a robe is not gonna. He and his sister, who shouldn't she be hero girl then? If just his sister needs hero boy, I don't know. Sarah, I think is her name. She gets a name. He's hero boy. I didn't write this. I don't think they had names in the book. I read the book when I was a little kid, but I don't remember it that much. But he has one present left, and it's the bell. And they ring it, and they show you. He rings it, the sound is made. She rings it, the sound is made. But when the parents come in, they're like, "Oh, look, a bell. Who gave it to you, Santa?" Santa, and they ring it, and they don't hear anything. So yeah, they don't believe. And then Tom Hanks is the narrator, as the kid, a hero kid narrating as an adult, says that over the years, his friends stopped hearing the bell, and eventually Sarah herself stopped hearing the bell, but he never did, which means he never stopped believing in Santa. Ah, shucks. But, yeah, this movie's fine. I'm going to give it the middle of the road. This almost wasn't a, going into this, I was like, it's going to be not worth your time, because I never liked this movie. And I still don't like it, but I think it's okay for what you want to, show your kids, put it on. And yes, it is getting darker. Here. Sorry, Turbo Man.
It's turbo time.
Yes. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on the Polar Express? I don't know, comment below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. What is that? 4 or 5? I think I have 3 left actually to do. No, 2. 2? 2. 2? 2, 2, 2, 2. Hold on. 2, right? This is Friday. I have 2 left. Okay. Never mind. I have 2 movies left to do. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.